Okay, I was hearing myself. I think that's fixed. Okay, so I'll go straight on to start about the meeting. And yeah, if you can see my screen, today is getting it right. I would introduce the meeting. Of course, Page Solutions. We do some sequence. I think it was Daniel that was asking me why we do this. I said that as a career coach, I realized that a lot of people have so many questions, and these questions are real life questions, and that is what we always try to address in these meetings. Real life questions that really affect how we are, what the things that are affecting our lives. And today we're going to be talking about getting it right, a guide to knowing which career for you, whether you're trying to career pivot or you're trying to even know what career to do, you're trying to make a decision about your life. I mean, this is a very important topic because we spend the whole of our lives, more than 70% of our time, um, doing a particular work. So it's important that we know what exactly we should be spending our time in. And is it cast in stone? Is not. You might be a bit flexible to know when it's time to move or what career fits the passion you want to do. Sometimes it's about what is the next thing you want to do and then finding the right space, intellectually, finding the right field to address those things that you want to do. All right, so I'll do a brief introduction of myself. I'm Joy Alabinde. I have done a bit of human resources for about a decade more than, and this is what I do. In the long run, I've put myself a brief of me in a glance, so you could read through and see me over the time. Yeah. So these are speakers, but before we go to the speaker session, I want to talk about why. So why this meeting? I said the work life and the life work ideology. We spend 70% of our life spent at work. And whatever those period of hours, those days that you spend at work, those are actually, what translate into your work life. I mean, and whatever you actually achieve during those hours, those minutes, those seconds, those weeks into months that you go to work, impute your time, whether you work from home or you work in an office or you're doing a business of your own, that's also a work, or you're an entrepreneur, that's a form of career really. So whatever you're doing at that time, every of those hours, how they impact your life, you feel doing them, what you're experiencing, that's your work life. If you're not having a good time, you're having a terrible work life. If you're not feeling fulfilled, you're having an unfulfilling work life. If you're feeling impactful, if you're doing what you really want to do, then you're having a good work life. So every time, every minute, every second into time that you're doing, how you feel during those work, what you experience after every 7 hours of your day, of your active daytime that you put into those time, what you experience during that time is actually the summary of your work life. Then whatever you achieve with all of those hours of 7 days, or 5 days, or 4 days, into months, into years, what you're able to achieve, regardless of the dexterities you worked with, that is your life's work. And peradventure, maybe you're going to spend 80 years on earth, 90 years on earth. Maybe totally you're going to work for about 60 years. You don't even get to work about 60 years. Let's say an average person works between 30 to 45 years. And even in those time, you probably spend more than 70% of that time doing active work. And how important it is that you actually look down the line, when you're about 70 and you're like, okay, my life's work was what my work life. How are you going to be happy, feeling like, okay, feeling fulfilled that yes, when I look like at my life's work, even now that I'm retired and I'm just, enjoying family or doing some other social activities and it's impacting my society or whatever it is you want to do after you stop active work. How are you going to say um my life work is what the work life I had, the sleepless nights, some people even they work non-stop on Saturdays, they're going at it every time. Are you going to really be satisfied and say, yes, my life's work is what this is my work life experience? And that's one of the reasons why we are having this meeting. The second reason why we're having this meeting is what I call walkover title. I know a lot of people, most of the time, when you ask people, what do you want to do? Like, what do you really want to do? They go with big, big names. I want to be an investment banker. I want to be a neurosurgeon. I mean, when we were young, all of us wanted to be, what do you call this now? Neurotic engine, or a submarine engineer, or you want to be a surgeon. You read Ben Carson books, a lot of big names. I mean, you had to have a big name to feel fulfilled, so to say. Yeah, good. I mean, they're not bad. But what you need to think about is what are the requirements, what are the experiences, what are the everyday feeling or demands of this career I'm picking? And does that look like me? Because I mean, if I'm going to be a surgeon, meaning I'm going to have to see blood, I'm going to have to deal with people's body, I'm going to be hearing people's health problems, I'm going to stand on my feet for hours trying to, bring out whatever is wrong in someone's body. I'm going to be seeing a lot of blood. I'm going to be doing constant investigation, dipping my head in books. I'm going to prioritize my work over my life. All of those things. Does that look like me? Can I sit in one place for 3 hours and just go through books, go through this, and just be studying? Is this something I can do? Or I'm the kind of person that really, really just wants to see the world. I mean, if you are the kind of person that wants to see the world, that wants to travel, that wants to see what's happening in China, that wants to talk about what's happening in Thailand, I mean, being a soldier might not be the best career for you, even though the name and the money sounds good. So that's what I said, work over title. What is work experience really going to be like? When you're thinking about picking a job type, a career path, but we're going to still get down to all of the nitty-gritties. I'm trying to explain why we're doing this meeting. When you're trying to pick something to do, apart from just looking at the name, oh, human resources, I want to be a chief human resource officer. Look at what exactly the life of a chief human resource officer looks like, and day to day, what or is day to day work, what are the things that she's going to be handling, the requirements, the skills, and all of that, and look at it. Is this what I want to be? Does it look like me? Then you would know if that's actually what you want to do. All right, so we're going to go to the speakers. We'll allow them to introduce themselves. I believe, Danielle, are you ready?
Yes, I'm very much ready. Good morning once again.
Good morning.
Joy, good morning, Rita. It's good to be here, actually. I feel honored to be among the speakers of this great session. So as Joy has introduced herself, Joy, can I proceed for that, or I'll allow you hand over the mic for the introduction?
No, please. I think it's better you introduce yourself. You do a better job at it.
Okay. All right. Thank you. So my name is Daniel Uti. I currently work for an organization in the maritime space. I've been into HR for the last decade. Started my career in 2011. In fact, I stumbled into HR basically. So, but luckily for me, I had someone that actually guided me, more like a coach, that gave me insights, gave me options to explore, and of course, made me have that final decision to make. So it's been an interesting journey for me in HR. It's been full of challenges, I must say. Of course, there are good memories, and of course, there are memories that you also want to improve on, and we learn on every day. So I've worked in various aspects of HR, from compensation and benefits to recruitment, or I would say talent acquisition, to career management, then of course to learning and development. Of course, I also have experience in employee relations, labor relations, and the like. So in a nutshell, Daniel is an HR professional that is looking forward to learning, that sees himself as being adaptable. Of course, I wouldn't say I'm a baby boomer or a Gen Z or a millennial. So I see myself as being very, very much adaptable to the current changes that befall us at this time. So that's all I can say about myself right now. Thank you. Hello, Joy.
Yes, hello. Yeah, please go ahead to your session.
So I'm going to just be as fast as I can to save time because I know my time is as counted. So I'll just quickly share a screen of what I just put up as regards the topic of discussion, getting it right, just a guide to know the right career for us. So just 1 second to share the screen.
Video.
So if you can see the screen, please let me know.
Yes, we can see your screen.
Okay, perfect. So for the discussion, I just put up a very short slide to just talk us through the experiences we face in terms of choosing that right career. How do we go about a career? What are the signs of the fact that you might be in the wrong career, and what are the ways to identify that you're actually in the right career? And what is a career, basically? So we'll talk more about this on this slide. So if I can just move further. So the key points we are going to be looking at in this slide is defining what a career is. We always talk about, career, moving into a career and the like. So what exactly is a career? It's important for us to actually understand that. Then, of course, what we'll look at again is the important points about a career. What does a career entail? What are the tips or key points about a career? Then, of course, we'll look at what not to do, basic career myths. Okay, I hear people say a lot of things. Oh, because this thing is trending, so it simply means it is the best career for me. We'll talk about that. Then, of course, selecting a career, what do you need to do? What should you do? What are the steps? What are the guides? Then, of course, ways to know that you're in the right career. How do you know you're in the right career? We'll talk about that. Then, of course, signs to know that you're in the wrong career. Okay. Now, it's important to know that for one to go into any particular career, a career itself is not something that you can do within weeks or months. It's actually a lifetime event. In fact, your career actually is your life, essentially. So as you can see here, it takes weeks, months, or even years as you continue to learn, because the most important thing is learning and even adapting to the current environment you find yourself. So it's equally important to know that it is a long time event. It's a lifetime event, actually. Now, people often say, I want to go into this career. What actually is a career? What is a career? So our definition here says a career is a profession or work which may require certain levels of learning or training. It is a lifelong job, a vocation, or an occupation that a person goes into and therein makes a living. Yes, in as much as you are passionate about a job or you want to go into a career, there should also be a rewarding side of that career you are going into. It is equally very important. So when you are making that decision or when you are having that, deep dive or deep thoughts about what you want to go into or what you want to do or what you want to achieve, it's important to also look at the perks or the benefit that comes with it. Okay. Another definition also says it is not merely a series of work-related experiences, but it consists of a series of properly sequenced role experiences leading to an increasing level of responsibility, status, power, and rewards. So many persons go into a career field for so many reasons. Some for the responsibility, some for the status, some even for the power, some for rewards. What is rewarding in a career? What can they benefit in a career? What will they learn in a career? So these are all the things that one needs to think into. Then what are the important points about a career? The first is it is a long-term choice. In fact, it's actually a lifetime um, experience. People often say your career is your life. Yes, your career actually is indeed your life. So it's before you make that decision, before you go into that career of your choice, you also need to think about it. Is this something I want to do for the rest of my life? Is this something that I will grow into? Is it something that I will learn and help people along the way? Will I be a career coach after I've had my experience or after I've retired? So these are all the things that you need to think about as regards a career. Then the next is you may have to spend considerable time and money to enter into that profession or career you choose. It involves a lot of time. It also involves a lot of money too, because of course you cannot learn things for free. You cannot, because for instance, I want to go into an engineering field. What do I need to do? I can't learn this for free. I need to dedicate my time. What certification do I need to do? What education do I need to go into? How do I learn? How do I update my skills? How do I, upgrade my skills? So all those things involve time and money. Okay. Then of course you spend most of your productive time with your career or your work. Like I said, it is a lifetime event. It is actually a lifetime thing for you to get into a career. In fact, we spend 80%, like Joy mentioned earlier, we spend 80 or 70% of our life work, of our career in the workspace. In fact, we work maybe Mondays through Fridays. We are having facilitation sessions and the like. So we have like little time to even spend for ourselves personally, but because we have the passion for that career or for what we do, essentially. So we spend most of our time within our career space. Then of course, a career is driven by passion. You must be passionate about that career you want to go into. You must be enthusiastic about it. If you're not enthusiastic about that career, of course, you will just be working just to earn a living. Like they said, yeah, career is driven by passion, but the job is driven by financial incentives. People work for several reasons. Oh, I want to pay bills. I want to, take care of my needs and the likes, but you may not necessarily enjoy what you do. Okay, but once you enjoy what you do, it goes beyond just the financial incentives. So that is these are some of the important points we need to know about a career. People often ask me these questions. Are there good or bad careers? No career is good or bad in itself. No career is ever good or bad in itself. I always say this because you might find yourself in a situation and maybe things may not be working for you well at that point in time, doesn't mean that that career you are going for is the wrong career. No, there might be a lot of factors involved. Probably the person you're working with, maybe the colleagues you work with, or maybe the company culture may not be right for you, but that career may be the right one for you. But probably because of the environment, it may be difficult for you to excel in such an environment. So what is important here is that the person behind the career, what is important is the person behind the career and what he or she can do with that chosen career. So everything all depends on you, not the person beside you, not the person in front of you, not that leader, because that leader can actually give you options, can actually guide you, but you have the final say to know what you want to go into, basically. Now, selecting a career, what not to do. These are some of the career myths. Number one point is choosing a career based only on financial consideration. We have many people, because of the current economic situation now, they say, oh, I want to go into something that is much more profitable. Yes, it is profitable, it is rewarding, but is it what I really want to do? Is it what I really want for myself? Do I have the passion in that career? Or is it just because it offers me financial incentives, so I must go for it? So these are some of the mistakes that some professionals make when they are going into a particular career. Then choosing a career based on pressure from parents and peers. I used to remember back then when we used to grow up, our parents would say, oh, I want you to be a doctor. Or, oh, I want you to be, a mechanic or an engineer, or I want you to be a lawyer or a legal professional or an HR professional. So these are some of the things that they want for you, but do you actually want that for yourself? The answer definitely is no. So for some people, they want to live their career through other people. So you shouldn't fall for pressure from peers or parents. But oftentimes people say, because I am studying this or I'm into this career, you too are also good for this career. That is one of the career myths that people should know that may not be effective for you. Then of course, choosing a career that is trending online. Oh, the in thing now is software development or network installation, you always see trending online. But the fact that it is trending online doesn't necessarily mean it's fall for that. Whatever is trending online is always going into that. You should also go into the career of your choice. Now, select a career, what do we need to do? Those assessments. Have that self-reflection in your life before you even ask for is what do you want to do? Why do I want to go into this career? What is in for me? Am I going to grow in this career? Or would there be room for work-life balance? Would there be flex time and all of that? Would it give me time to spend time with my family and all of that? So you need to also reflect on this, because the more you reflect on this, the more you may come up with ideas or come up with inputs, which you may actually write down, basically. So it's important to perform that self-assessment before you take any other step. This is the first step you need to take. So what are the things you look at, basically? What are the key values? So if I'm going for a particular career, when I'm doing a self-reflection, will it offer me independence or financial stability? So these are the key things you need to look at. Also, what aptitudes do you have? Are you that project-oriented person? Maybe you are very, very conscious with time when you are doing a particular task. Are you the communicating type? You communicate well? Are you the kind of person that you always plan whenever something comes to you or you're being given a task? Even at home, you always put things into steps or into processes and following those steps one after the other? Or are you the problem-solving type? Whenever issues come up, you always prefer solutions. You always say, "Oh, I think this is what we should do. I think if we look at this option, this may work." So, do you have that problem-solving skills within you? Then also, what's your personality like? Are you the quiet type? Are you the outgoing type? Are you the confident type? Are you the aggressive type? Or are you the loyal type? These are all the things you need to look at when you are doing that self-reflection and personal self-assessment before you make that career decision or career move. Then the next is identify your must-haves. What are the things that you think or believe will motivate you or that are required when you are going for that career? It is equally important. Some people have different things that motivate them. Some persons, when they work in an organization, they will tell you, "Oh, it is actually the staff boss. In fact, it makes it very easy for me to commute easily from the house down to work." Some will say, "Oh, it's basically the medical coverage that is being provided for me. So whenever I have any medical emergency, it is being taken care of 100%." Some say, "Oh, I like the kind of job that takes me out, that makes me travel a lot, travel to different locations and learn different cultures." So people have different things that motivate them. So what do you need to do? You need to put all those things into consideration. So, of course, the first point is, do you require certain benefits, like which I mentioned earlier, like health coverage, and also, would you want to take a job that involves travel or take a job that you can find within a certain location? Like, for instance, this is Lagos, in my current location, actually. There are some persons that work at the island. On the island, there are some persons that work at the mainland. So for some people that live in the mainland, they want to reside and work within the mainland. Why some wouldn't mind commuting from the mainland down to the island? So people have different things that motivate them. So you have to look at all those things while making that decision, okay? Then, do you require any sort of flexibility to work from home? If you are going for that career, would it offer you flexibility? Will it also offer you time off in case of any emergencies? Not that, oh, the work you're doing because you love it, it is your career. It takes, let me say, 80 to 90% of your time. That is often a concern for some professionals that I've actually spoken with, actually. Then also, do you need to adhere to a specific job title or level? There are some persons that their dream is just to become a CFO. Maybe they are finance officers. So they are aiming to be chief financial officer, or maybe there are some that want to just be a CEO. That is actually a motivating factor for them. So they want to be, lead people. They want to make decisions. They want everything to stop at their table, basically. So people have different things that motivate them, basically. Now, it is important for us to know what we need in the job ahead of time. That's why we always have that self-reflection. Have that self-reflection. Think deeply what you want to do, what you want to achieve. Where do you see yourself in the next 2-3 years if you want to go into that career? It is very, very important you know and do your findings. For instance, let me say I'm a salaried person now. I like doing a job that that will earn me salary every month. Can I really do a freelance job that I may not get paid in a month or two? Maybe once I get the job done, or maybe once I've completed that project, that's when I get paid. So the onus depends on you. So would you rather go for that or go for the other? Okay. Then of course, the third point is make a list of jobs to explore. Now that you want to go into a career of your choice, maybe in the field of maritime, in the field of the medical profession or legal profession, you need to make a list of jobs to explore. What are those jobs? Basically, you need to know them. It is very, very interesting. And how can you achieve that? You can use your network. Some of us are on LinkedIn. Many people are joining LinkedIn. So it can be other professional networks. Make use of your network. Ask questions. Seek for guidance. Seek for input from these professionals so that they can give you options and you can look into those options and explore those options. It is very, very important. You cannot make decisions on your own, okay, without the inputs or guidance or advice, from professionals, okay? Then, of course, look for industries that offer such roles. It's very, very, very important because when you are looking for a particular job role or maybe a career you want to go into, which industries or organizations offer such roles? You need to also research them, find out about those, industries. It's really, really help. Okay. Like I said, also research for jobs and employers. I want to be a legal officer, or I want to be a financial accountant or a management accountant. What does the role entail? What is the typical day-to-day job of that role? What would that role offer? Basically, I want to be an auditor. Find out about that role. Check the job description. It will really give you a better idea or a better view of what the role entails and what it offers, basically. Okay. Then financial incentives. Of course, it's very, very important. In as much as you are passionate about a job, you are passionate about what you want to do, will it offer you something rewarding? Will it offer you something beneficial? That's where you are doing this job that you have passion in, you are also getting that financial, benefits, from it. It is also a perfect, idea that you also need to think of, because I can't be doing things like some persons will say in local balance, passion doesn't pay the bills, especially in a tough economic situation like this. So it's equally important you consider all those things, put them into consideration when you are looking for that role that you are passionate about, okay? Then job requirements. What does the job entails? What does it require? What certification do you need to get to actually go into that career or into that job role? It is equally very important. Some persons just want to go into the medical field without knowing what the requirement is, without knowing that you have to go to the university, you have to go to a medical school, you have to undergo some exams, you have to do some housemanship before you can actually call yourself a medical doctor. So it's equally important you know all those things because it's really help you in making informed decisions. Then also that role or career you are going into, does it offer you growth opportunities? Do you see yourself growing in that career that you want to go into? These are all the things you need to, think of. Then the fifth point is, it is important to seek a career advice. Oftentimes we miss out this. We always feel after we've done the self-reflection, we've researched about companies, we've spoken to our networks, we've researched about the job, we just feel we can make that decision. It is equally important to seek career advice. If you're in a particular career and you feel you're not excelling in that career, please seek for an advice from professionals within that field that can, give you their 2 cents and maybe possibly give you options to explore into. Many of us don't seek for career advice. We just believe that we can make our own decisions without their inputs. Okay, that is wrong. So it's important to know that even if any advice is given to you, the final decision lies with you. You have to make that decision yourself. After all the options would have been laid to your table, all the cards have been laid to your table. So it is up to you to make that decision. So it's important that you review all these things that I just mentioned before you make that decision. Now, ways to know that you are in the right career. What are the various ways to know that you're in the right career? Number one thing is you enjoy what you do as regards your role. You are passionate about what you do. In fact, you are full of excitement. You are always looking forward to Mondays, coming to work, giving your best, even supporting while you are home, basically. So it's just that passion that you have that drives you and enables you to know that you're in the right, career. Then, of course, when there's room for growth and further skill development, if you go into a career that is just normal 8 to 5 or 9 to 5, you don't go for trainings, it's just get the job done, deliver, and go home. I will suggest that is not the right career for you. So that career you are going into must give room for growth and development. There must be a development for you as you are doing the job. Then, of course, if you have a leader that provides room for creativity, especially when you find yourself in an environment where you have a leader that gives room for innovation and creativity and also give room for mistakes. There are some leaders that just feel you must be perfect, you must deliver, there must be zero mistakes and all of that. But we are humans, basically. In any career you find yourself, there must be room for making mistakes. If you don't make mistakes, then how would you learn? How would you correct yourself? How would you grow, essentially? So if I don't make mistakes, how would I learn from those mistakes? So it's equally important. So these are the things that will make you know that you're in the right career. Then, of course, if there's room for work-life balance, most organizations now are trying to introduce this work-life balance policy within them so that it can actually create a balance between work and family. Even though we spend 80% or 70% of our careers, or spend 70% of our life in our careers, it is equally important we create that balance between our careers and our families. Okay. Now, there's a quote here that says, the only way to do a great work is love what you do. If you have not found it yet, then keep looking. Don't settle. And who said this? Steve Jobs. So you have to be really passionate about what you do. If what you do doesn't come with passion or doesn't come with that excitement, then of course it will be a strong concern for you because you will not be happy doing what you're doing, essentially. Now, signs to know that you're in the wrong career. So many persons find themselves even in the right career, but because of the environment, it makes it difficult for them, to excel. So the number one point is when there's a job misfit or when there's no role clarity or expectation on that job or career you are going into. Oftentimes, people will come to a particular career or come to a particular job and say, oh, this wasn't what I expected. I've done my research, I've done my review, but there seems to be a misfit. And even when you give inputs, you're not even making any headway. You just feel your contribution is not, positive. It's always negative, and you're always getting negative reviews. So people will always think that you are not fit for a particular job. So sometimes you just find yourself that, am I really in the right career? Am I really doing the right thing? So of course, another point is little room for growth or absence of succession planning. People go into a career and they just see that, wow, there's really no growth in this career. Even when I've done my research and all of that, and they get stuck in that particular position or situation, it's difficult for them to leave. Then that is not the career for you. Even when there are opportunities to grow, but you are not seeing yourself growing, then that's not the career for you. And of course, the point number 3 is there's always a blame game. Somebody's always blaming you all the time. Even when you're giving your inputs, even when that is the right inputs, they always blame you. And even when you give the right input, sometimes they take the credit themselves, but they don't even acknowledge you for giving that input. So whenever there's always a blame game in a particular career, it means it's not the right career for you. Then no fulfillment. When you don't find fulfillment in what you do, the next thing is you have to explore and see what you can do to find that fulfillment. But once there's no fulfillment, it is very, very difficult for you to find fulfillment and be motivated to work, especially in that career that you are hoping for or dreaming for. Then of course, people always get distracted by having interest in other careers, essentially. So it's important that you focus on the career you want to go into. You can't be in a career and also be looking at other careers. That is distraction. So when you are looking at other careers, it simply means maybe you're not interested in this particular career again. Okay. So that is just my 2 cents for this presentation. Thank you very much. I hope I kept time. Joy, so I'll hand over the mic to you. So thank you for this session. Thank you.
Thank you so much. You did an absolute one there. I mean, it was very clear and the messages were very easy to digest. Thank you. I mean, from a session, one could easily learn the things that you need to look out for when you're going for a career path. Knowing what motivates you. Knowing what motivates you, and knowing if what motivates you, it's also going to have your passion in it. Are you going to be passionate about it? And is it going to fit your bill? Is there progression for you? All of those things are very, very salient. And we'll be going to the next session now with Madam Rita. And I just want to say thank you. I still expect that you stay on the call so for the question and answer session. But thank you so much. It was a very good session. Over to you, Madam Rita. Are you there? We're ready for you now.
I think she's offline. Maybe she can rejoin again.
Okay. While we wait for her to rejoin, I would like to pick on the part where you spoke about. I think. Okay, let me project from my screen. There were a lot of things you mentioned that really fed into the finding fulfillment about what you do. Well, one of the quotes I would like to strike in this meeting is that whatever you find yourself doing, no matter which career path you pick, you would need to make sure that you find fulfillment in that work. I mean, when fulfillment is linked to your passion, it's easy to know. If you're always dragging when you go to work, and what motivates you is the paycheck above all things. I mean, you're just looking for the next payday. Then the last 30 days you spent has not been fulfilling. As important as it is that whatever you do can fit your bills and can put food on your table and can sustain your lifestyle. But most importantly is that aside from the economical and financial benefits that you might get from that, it will be very good to make sure that you can find fulfillment in it. And when you see that there's passion attached to what you do, you would know if you're finding fulfillment or not. And when you're working and the paycheck comes and you feel qualified for that money, you feel like, yes, it's a good reward. You can enjoy that both the financial satisfaction and the psychological satisfaction that comes from your work. Some people get paid and they're not really, really excited about the money, so to say. They like the money. I mean, they like to shop and they like to have things, but it's not. You don't feel qualified for that money. You feel like, well, it's another thing. At least they're paying me, and that's just to let you know that your passion is not in line with that particular position. I think Madam Rita is here. Please, over to you for your session. Thank you.
Thank you, Joy, for having me on this particular program today. I really appreciate the opportunity this has afforded me to also reach out to a lot of people concerning career decisions. And to Daniel, you did a fantastic job. I was wondering why Joy wanted two people to do this program. You're just pointing on what you have decided to share today, and I really appreciate you. Very concise and very clear for people to pick on. So I won't be going much into details, and I want permission to be able to share my slides. So I will just go through so a few points, because Daniel has done justice to the issue of career decisions to consider, and then also look at the opportunities in terms of values that you're getting in any career that you select yourself, and also even went above to discuss about, like, you've entered, you've chosen, you're already working. what are the warning signs, the red flags that knows that you are in a wrong position or in a wrong choice of career. So thank you for doing justice to that, Daniel. I must really appreciate you for that. So getting into my presentation, my name is Rita Babalola. I have been in the professional experience. I've worked through the banking industry, oil and gas consulting, and then pitching myself to own my own consulting company. So my experience is a bit broad, and I've come to use that to walk through my journey. And also during the course of my life story, I had the opportunity, like what he mentioned, Daniel mentions parental pressure on, oh, this is the right career for you. You are doing fantastically well in this course. Oh, you're a science student, Then in our own days, if you are very brilliant, you will move to the sciences. We used to assume that if you go into hard subjects, you are not that fantastic. I am brilliant. So that was the background of where we were coming from. And then we decided to go for this particular course because they said, or your family friend's daughter is on one career path, and your parents feel, oh, this person is earning a lot of money, Then olden days, it was more of the where the money is, where the money is, that's what the career you have to pursue. And then engineering, pilots, medical doctor, those were the reigning courses. I mean, flashback to less than 10 years, we started hearing what Joyce said about new titles coming on board, and then the new gold, fintech. So not to waste much of our time, I have decided to talk about the same career, getting it right and knowing it. The brief intro is, at every stage in our life, in one person's life, sometimes it could be like 2 times, it could be like 3 times, depending on if you are transiting into another career or you just want to stay put with the subjects that you have chosen in your high school through your university days. So there are different options that comes to you. If you must get to the point where you just have to make a decision. What is the right career for you? What do you think will fulfill you as a human being? We get to know about Maslow's theory, where you need to decide at every stage of your life if it's more of the physiological needs, if it's more of the psychological needs, if it's more of the intangibles. Then you're talking about the esteem that is associated with a particular career. So at every point in our life, we're making decisions about career. If it's not on changing your job or changing the industry, there must be something that we're always looking for. So in making the right career point, I've chosen this point like, when you get to a choice in life, how do you know where what you want to tilt to? Should you go for science? Should you go for art? Should you go for HR? And just like what Daniel said too, I happened to walk into HR. It wasn't a natural choice. When I was doing my MBA at LASSO, I chose, generally, I think it was the second session, one way, or the second year, we were asked to choose our choice. And then I chose marketing. But unfortunately, they felt a fewer numbers were in the HR department, and that was what they did. The last set of people that joined at that particular year, they just moved everybody to human resources, even though my career has always been in sales and marketing. So I became a first HR professional, and that was it. When you say there's always the unseen hand that moves you from one point to the other, I never bargained on human resources. I just didn't even want to go there. But then that decision was taken out from me by the school authorities. When I resumed the next week, I just found out my name was on human resources. I was like, I tried to change it, and then you can see what has happened. This is what I'm living by. This is what gives me, this is what pays my bill. So when you get to a point, you have to look at your personal fulfillment. Why do you want to choose a particular career? Are you going to be fulfilled by it? Are you going to get to the point where you feel you are doing the wrong thing? For some people, it's not about the money. For some people, it's about adding value. And that's why you see some people, it is just teaching. You tell them, oh, come and earn money here. They'll tell you, no, I just want to teach. I just want to impact people. I just want to do this. And there are people that also choose career because of a vocation. I've seen someone that lost a child, that left a banking career, and at that point in terms of career choice, it was more of humanity, social impact, social entrepreneurship. I don't want to do anything. I just want to give back to the society. And then you also have to look at the job satisfaction. Are you going to be satisfied with what you do? There are various steps that you need to look at in making that career choice. You also look at your personal growth. How soon can I do this? If I want to do medicine, how many years can I devote of my life to this particular course of study? I think Daniel also mentioned that. How many years will I stay if I want to do law? How do I interplay with all these things? And then you look at the financial stability. For some, it's not money, but for some of us, it may be money. And then, just like what Daniel said, that's why I'm wondering why Joy wants me, because Daniel has said everything I needed to say. So you look at the part of where it has to do with work-life balance, the flexibility in terms of work. You're looking at, oh, do I want freedom to be able to jump on the next plane to travel out? I spoke to someone recently. I was mentoring some group of people and in the group coaching, and then somebody told me that, oh, there was a point in time where she was at the Big Four and she didn't have a life. And she didn't mind because it was more of, there was a hierarchy. And when you get to senior, you want to move from associate to senior at a very high, you don't even want to wait. There are people that wait 3 years, there are people that wait 4 years, but there are people that also get it in 2 years. And that was her. And then she said, at that point in time, she was going out with someone, but the relationship was just, the relationship, she broke off from the relationship because it wasn't her. The pinnacle was for her to get to a senior level at the young age before she got to 27 years, before 27 years of age, at the Big Four. That is some people's dream. So she left the relationship. She just felt that, oh, anything about work, she doesn't even have a life. She didn't have a life at that particular point in time. Relationship, zero. Family, let me just put you aside. Sunday church services, not at all. It was more of church for her. And for some other people, they will find that very strange. They just want to work 9 to 5. Let me get to anything about work stops at the workplace. Anything about my life, I pick it up immediately. So career choices varies. And just like what Daniel said, parental pressures come into play. But then when you look at certain career decisions that you need to look at, there's usually pitfalls that we need to have for it. And number one is that the uncertainty about interest and passion. For some people, they can't distinguish which is what for them. Some people are very good at doing things. Myself now, if you see me on LinkedIn, I write, but I don't have somebody writing for me. I just wake up one day, I'm like, okay, let me start writing on this thing. I can be on my toilet seat and I'm writing already. I can be in the car, the car is being driven by somebody else and I'm thinking of something to write. I just write it easily. It comes natural to me. But for some people, they will struggle. And for some people, okay, during the course of the slide, I think it's the next slide, I'm going to talk about it in full. And then if you don't have self-awareness of who you are, what you represent in life, what are your core values as individuals, in as much as you want to choose your career, whether you are 18, whether you're 15, whether you are 25. I've had someone that worked with me. She read human resources in university and she came to my workplace. We thought natural procession for her was just to go to human resources. And she told us, no, she doesn't want to practice human resources. We were like, who does that? We moved her to another unit on business development. She thrives on it. And sometimes I get it, I'm asking her, Sophie, why did you go to school to study human resources 4 years? Then you did 1 year internship, and now you are here in the human resources space. But she tells you it's not her interest. Okay, why did you choose it? My parents just felt that I should choose any course because what I desired to study in university, I didn't get it when I did CHAM. And then they gave me the next available one, which was human resources. But then she's not practicing it. So that lack of self-awareness of your personality, of who you are, what you represent, what interests you, what fills your energy, those are things that people need to be able to pinpoint in terms of choosing their career. Otherwise, it's going to be a pitfall for them. Then external influences, parents. My uncle works in a law firm. I've gone to the law firm. I like the way they dress. I like the wig. I like the way they talk. Or if it's not that, I've come from a society, from a family of accountants. Therefore, the next progression for me is what? To be an accountant. Oh, my dad is a medical doctor. My mom is a medical. You see that a lot in the medical field. I have friends that their parents are doctors. The children naturally are doctors. It's always like that. And then for some people, that fear of failure makes them like, okay, if it's not this one, it is this one. So career decisions has to be hinged on something. Otherwise, these are potential things that when you finish from all those things on your journey, you get to the point you are not fulfilled. And then you begin to ask yourself a lot of questions. And for some people, they bring that toxicity because of the lack of identifying who they are, what their purpose is. They bring it to bear in the workplace, and then we begin to have that mismatch in the organization. And then for some people, it is unrealistic career expectation. I've chosen a particular career. I feel that is the end goal, that is the light in the tunnel. When they get there, it is not what they bargained for. It's a whole total ball game. Somebody that chose medicine because, oh, it's the in thing, I just want to do this. Or somebody that chose fintech now, just look, that is the new gold. You have some people, they just get to a point in their life and they just say, no, it's fintech. They go into it, but then they enter it. They've done 2 years, 3 years. And at the end of the day, they are still like lost in the market. They don't know why they have chosen it, because they've not been able to align their personal goal to the reality of their job expectation. Okay, so I was going to talk about skills. If you're going to decide your career, one thing you need to know is the skills and ability. I've seen people that tell you, I don't like maths, therefore I will need to avoid anything that has to do with quantitative. I have HR professionals that work with me, and they'll tell me that they don't want to handle any business side of the business. And I tell them, you have to be an all-rounder, in as much as you spend 5 years, 6 years. So those are things that you need to look at. How good are you with numeracy? Can you go to this field of accounting? If you're not good at it, and you know that 95% of whatever information, data that you're going to be dealing with on a daily basis has to do with your skills and ability. There's no profession that will not rest or hinge on your innate abilities. So that innate ability, you have to look at it. Are you very good numerically? So if you're good or you're tilted towards it, what are the careers that you can look at? You're looking at accounting, you are looking at actuarial science, you're looking at data analytics, you're looking at so many things that has to do with numeracy. So if you know, once you see figure, you develop headache, you know definitely that is not for you. You get to do accounting. I mean, I wanted to do accounting at a point in time, but when I started seeing credit, debit, all those things, I just moved off completely from it. But some people will want to force themselves into it. Technical drawing. I love the fact that I saw architects when I was in secondary school. They were we used to call it technical drawing, TD. People, some girls loved it. They want to go into Aki. With that Aki, we used to love that kind of profession. It is highly prized, esteemed, and all those things. Honestly, by the time I started doing technical drawings, I knew that was not for me. But for some people, they want to force themselves into it. So you have to look at your ability, your skills. Do you have it? Because those are the things that when the job or the chores gets boring, it is your innate ability, that latent gift that you can do easily that will solve the problem. Then Daniel also mentioned something that has to do with problem-solving skills. Do you have it? What job will relate to you using problem-solving skills in your career? You just have to look at it. Communication. How can I be a business development person and I don't know how to talk and I don't know how to speak and I want to force myself that I want to be a newscaster? You want to be in the cabin crew, you don't know how to talk, you don't know how to communicate with people, you are shy. So there are some skills that you learn later on in life. But if it's not you, you get to the point where these things becomes a problem. When I do training, now look at the organizational skills. I tell people, if you're one that your parents or your mom is always complaining, your towels is on the bed. How come at primary school, they've complained that you always put your towels on the bed? You've complained, when you finish eating, the plates are on the table. Of course, this will transit to when you get to the organization, there's no way it won't affect you because those are your natural skills. It is flawed already. But you get into an environment where everything is cool, everything is well arranged in terms of organization, you're going to have a problem because you struggled all through, even in your personal life. You struggle with organizational skills. There's no way it will come to affect the career you're going to choose. And then you're looking at the critical thinking. Some people come into the workplace, you're asking them simple things to work on, they cannot work around it. Give them a simple task that probably you give to somebody that has just finished like secondary school, they can't, because they lack critical reasoning skills. So you need to know what roles, what careers would you use to be able to do this. And then I move you straight to career planning process. I've listed it like 1, self-awareness. Recognize who you are. Recognize your self-interest. Recognize your personality. I'll go to the point where we're going to talk about personality as a whole, because once you know your personality, you know your strength, there's something we call the signature strength. There's something you call the strength. There's something you call your weakness. Something you call your shortcomings. What are the things that you need to avoid so that you can know that, this particular career A is not for you. So self-awareness is key. And in terms of career planning process, if you need to decide on any career, go through this 4 keys career planning process. 1 is self-awareness. Know who you are, know what you represent, know your strength and your ability. Once you know this ability, you'll be able to define the exact career that you need for yourself. And then value. For some people, it's, I want to impact people, like I said. For some people, I want to make money. For some people, I want freedom. I want career that I just want to be me. I want to be independent. Some people it's about workplaces. There has to be flexibility. I don't want to do 5 days physically in the office. So, and then you need to explore. How do you do this? carry out research. Some of us find it difficult to research the particular career we want to do. And internet has made things possible. Maybe 10, 15 years ago, it would have been difficult, but now you can do research at the comfort of your home. You can do research anywhere, wherever you are at any time. See, you can research on any career. And then if you're looking at how to also explore, you have that what you call, you get to the point where you can also speak to people. Speaking to others, getting feedback from people is also a veritable way of learning how to know your career. By the time you talk to somebody that is already in, let me say, accounting field, oh, what do you need for accountant? How do I know how to be fulfilled in this particular career? Those are points you need to consider. Then identity. When you look at, you've defined your self-awareness, you've known who you are, you've also explored, you've gotten to the point where this is what you want to do. You've decided it, you've researched it, you've narrowed it down to maybe 2 or 3. The next is the most suitable career path. You look at the options now. What are the ways around these options? Can I identify it? Once you put it down, you can always put actions to it. Then the next one is the execution part of it. How do you want to execute it? How do you want to do it in such a way that I have to relate with it? In this part of the climb, thank God it's coming up now that people are doing internship. Internship could be paid one, internship could be unpaid one. Explore the opportunity. I laugh sometimes when I get people that they want to intern, and I'm telling them, if you intern, I give you this value. And then some will tell me that, no, if I tell them I want to pay them a certain amount of money, they tell me they can't afford that. It has to be like, it covers all their expenses. And I'm like, internship is not about that. If you work in a bigger organization, internship could be the fact that they could get it done for you and pay you that value. But internship in most cases may not be the same thing as having that opportunity to be able to pay, because there are some internship that is not. I have a friend whose daughter is in Dublin right now, and I've known them for more than 15 years. When the girl got to secondary school, she said she wanted to study medicine. You know, the parents now there was a family hospital they were using in Ikeja, and then every holiday period, this lady was always going to the hospital to go and sit down there, to work with them, whatever tasks that they give her, whatever things that she can witness. So those are ways that people can know the right career choice. If you get to the point where Manuel said something about, it was Joy that said something about blood, that you want to do medicine and you cannot wait and cite blood and then you faint. Those are things that you've already started, maybe internship. By the time you get there and they are cutting wounds, healing, stitching up things, and you start looking this way, you start looking that way, so you don't want to see, then you know that the medical line is not your field. Or some people at the sight of syringes, they can faint. You know, then if you say you want to be in the medical field, even if it's not medicine, if it's technical and laboratory technicians, if it's anything that has to do with lab, anything, you know, definitely with syringe, there's no way you will not deal with it. So if you cannot stand it at that point in time, you know the internship has worked for you, because it has given you one way to know that that career, that profession is not for you. So internship and mentorship is another good way to know, in making career decision. And then we move down to personality tests. Personality tests, normally it's the match that we have innate ability, we have unique abilities and skills. So these personality tests, there are so many on the internet right now. They are free. They've been verified, scientifically validated, in the sense that 99.9% it matches, it actually works. But then you need to look at the one that works for you. There are workplace personality tests. There are also value assessment tests that can be done. There are also things that you can work on. But one thing about it is, if it's free, you get the abridged version that will just explain to you what skills that you have, what kind of careers that you can go into. But if you want the paid version, then, if you want the full report of it, then that means you have to pay for it. When you pay for it, you get the ones that will match your value, the one that will match your strengths, the one that will speak on your weaknesses and be able to match it word for word and be able to pinpoint like 2 for you that you can work on. And then it's left for you to be able to do that. Yeah, so then you look at the point of the kind of text that we have. We have the DISC assessment, you have the Myers-Briggs Type Indicator, you have the personality assessment inventory, and then you have the Big 5 personality. All these usually are free. If you want the average one, you can pay for it. And then in matching the personality, you're looking at what is your major strength? What can you do effectively to be able to know? Number one, go online, pick on any aspect. It's usually like about, the longest will be like 45 minutes of your time. So you need, if you are confused as to the career choice you want to take, please go online, search for personality tests, free personality tests. You have so many versions that you can use for this. And then you have, personality. It has to do with your skill, know-how. What are the skills that you have innate in abilities, your ability, and then the knowledge. If you have a little bit of knowledge, there's no knowledge that is lost. So far, I tell people, even if you work in your parents' workshop, you work in your mother's store, anything you do there is also part of the experience you have. Because even in the store, you learn how to add up money, you learn how to do inventory, you learn how to prevent fraud in big stores. Those are things that you can always apply on your resume. Those are your workplace skills that cannot be forgotten. So it's valuable, and it can usually put it on your resume to know that you have a certain skill. If your parents, if your father or your mother has a technical firm or is an engineer, you work in their technical workshop, those are skills that you can build on. You can add up to it. And those are things that also make you know that you are exposed to career choices that you can make decisions on later on. And then the attitude. How do you do it? What comes out of it? And how do you work around it so that you can get the very best of yourself and then streamline it? And then this is an example of a personality test. The dominance one, the influence, and then I have the steadiness. This is the DISC assessment. It has been profiled, but we're all into 4 personality tests. So when you do it, it's either selecting whether you are a dominant one, and then what is the motivating factor for some of these things. If you look at the dominance one, if your characteristics traits or your personality traits falls into the dominance, there are certain things that you'll be motivated by. If you look at the dominance one, motivated by power and authority, competition. So that means that if you want to look at the career of somebody that is motivated by competition, sales is one good of it. Sales and business development is one aspect of it, because it's always about them dominating. It's also about target. I am doing this target, I'm winning it, I'm achieving it. Oh, they've told us to go to a new market. How do we conquer this new market? How do we introduce this new product or this new services? And then if you look at that of influence, you're talking about what is motivating you, strong recognition. So look at careers that would use this strong strength of yours, which is strong social recognition, activities in terms of group activities, friendly relationship. You are usually moved by people. So then when you're looking at it, you're looking at, oh, how can I do this? Okay, so something that would do social recognition will probably be teacher, will probably be like lecturing, will probably be like, okay, there is less pay, but there's something there that I need to work on. And then you're looking at that of steadiness. A stable environment. You know, those ones that work in organization where there are rules and processes. You must follow this one before when you finish this one, you move to line B. When you finish from this one, you move to line. So what careers do you have these things that can be tele-guided? And that is usually be like audit. You look at what other ones that are operation processes that you cannot miss a particular step to go to step 2. Everything is doctored. Everything has been in the straight jacket way that you must do it. And then you look at the last one, the conscientiousness. You're looking at the part, everything has to be cautious. You need to be careful in doing this. Then you're looking at expertise like in the medical world. You're looking at expertise that has to do with things in a particular way, maybe banking. What are the things that you need to be careful about? So those are things that we need to look at if you want to do this, if you want to decide on your career choice for yourself. And then you are looking at the next one. Career exploration. I think I've explained some of this particular one. In career exploration, you need to just still do research. You need to look at the educational qualification of each of these things. If I want to do a particular one, what career will it be for me? Do I want to go with this career? Do I want to go with the other career? What are the points in this career that I need to match with in terms of the educational qualification? Do I need to match history with literature? Do I need to match geography with a particular one? What are the requirements for a particular choice? That is those ones that are still coming out in high schools that have not decided on a particular career choice of theirs. So you need to look at the educational requirements. Some courses would require you to have certain competencies in certain courses before you can decide to be one. If you want to do law, there are certain requirements that you can do. There are certain courses you need to do before you can get to be a lawyer. If you want to be an accountant, there's a certain mix of courses in high schools that you need to be able to do that. And then you're also talking to professionals who are already in the field, who you can always glean from. In gleaning, you are also getting information from them. We learn, and then we learn. You've known this way. What are the ways that I need to do it rightly? Talking to people, getting feedback is a veritable tool of career decision and career exploration. When you talk to people that are already in that field, you look up to them, they direct you rightly. You follow the right steps. You know, for some of us, we didn't have the ability to be able to make the right thing because there was no internet then. Even this issue of mentoring, coaching, it was alien to us then. We just like moved according to faith, F-A-T-E, not faith, but as in faith. You just, what comes to you is what you have been able to do to yourself. But then in life, as new development happens, as new technology comes into play, career decisions now is much easier for us. And then you look at your career interests. People generally, they are your preferences regarding your work activities and environment. This is the point where Daniel was also explaining the fact that it may not be all about the money. It may be a certain profession that you just want to do because you simply love it. And then in talking about career interests, it's been streamlined into 6. You have to be realistic. And then that means you're talking about those engineers. They are very realistic with figures. You're talking about logistic people, supply chain. Those are realistic. They are things that they have to move from point A to point B. Then you're looking at the investigative part. What part of you, what part of your personality fuels this investigative part? What are the careers can be there? I'm curious about how this thing is happening. I'm curious about how this is happening. You have robotics, you have the medicine, you have the forensic sciences, and then you're talking about artistic. Those are the creatives. They are the new world. They are the new gold. They are the new petroleum, what you call the crude oil. Everybody wants to be in this creation, content creation. You have the geek, you have the creative writer, you have the actor, you have the songwriter. Just write a song, post it, upload it, and then people start streaming it. You get money from such things. So those are steps that we need to look at. And then you're talking about career value. With career value, what interests you in terms of your value to society, to yourself? For every one of us, we've been inclined in such a way that our own innate abilities speak to either the creative, the tech part of it, the one that has to do with freedom, the one that has to do with opportunity to be able. For some, it may even be faith in God. I've done recruitment where I told a candidate to the last stage that, oh, sorry, the parent company is involved in a gaming business, betting business, and the person declined, and he was the most qualified of all. He declined it. It wasn't about the money for this person. So what for him, the value is his faith. He doesn't want to see anything that will negate his religion, his faith in God. And he says, according to his faith, it is wrong for him to be seen with anything that has to do with betting. And this guy declined it, even though the difference in the salary to that was more than 30 or 45% of it. But it wasn't about money. It was about his love to God. It was about his faith in God, that my career interest, my career profession was aligned with my faith. So those are things in terms of value to the society. My work environment, for some people, they cannot work in an environment that has to do with, okay, look at banking too. You see this Islamic banking, a banker, you say, oh, a banker, but for somebody that is so religiously inclined, it will tell you cannot work in the bank where they charge people with interest because they take loan. Those are things that are happening right now. 20 years ago, 15 years ago, you couldn't even hear about that. But as more as we are more technologically or not, as knowledge becomes new, becomes relevant in our scheme of things, these are things that we need to look at. And on the last note, I have to talk about the goal setting. As individuals, in deciding the careers that you want to do, we've heard about SMART goals. You need to be specific about your career choice. You need to decide, where am I going? Begin with the end in mind. We know the seven habits of highly effective people. Begin with the end in mind. What is your career goal? Be specific about it. Don't have 10. Even if you have 10, come down to a place where you need to have a journal. Write things down, research, jot them down, and get to the point where the 10 becomes 5, where the 5 becomes 3. So be specific on your career choice. And then you have the one that has to do with measurable. In about 3 years' time, what are the things that you need to do? What are the actions that you need to take to be able to get fulfillment in the career of your choice? In terms of being measurable, you're also talking about having personal mission statement. When you write down your personal mission statement, you're simply saying, oh, this is what I'm going to do in the next it has to be measurable. That means that in the next 3 years, I must have worked on this and this. And then you're talking about the realistic part of it. If you don't have money, I think Daniel mentioned that the financial part of it is key. You can't say you want to be a pilot when you know your background, when there's no scholarship attached to it. You know the funding will just make it, the financing will make it inadequate for you. You cannot do it without financing. If you don't have sponsor, if you don't have scholarship, there are courses there are careers that you cannot even go into, except you have sponsorship, you have scholarship, or you have somebody that is going to fund it. And then you're talking about be realistic with the goals that you have. If you don't have certain talents, if you don't have certain skills, if you don't have certain ability, don't go for career choices that would demand that from you. Because if it doesn't align with your ability and your skills, you won't find fulfillment in any career of your choice, because you are just simply going about with bandwagon. And then in terms of having timeline, decide your short-term career goal, your mid-term career goal, and then your long-term career goal. I think that's on the last note for me. Thank you, everybody. Okay, thank you, Joy, and thank you, Daniel, and thank you, everyone, for listening. That's my main point on that. Thank you.
Thank you so much. It was really a wonderful session. I think, Daniel, you did a great one, Daniel, and you must agree that, she took it to the next level. Thank you so much for that. The information was very clear. I actually wanted to ask a question at the beginning of the session, where you mentioned about how you got into HR, how you just saw your name on the board. This is one of the things a lot of us have experienced in their lives. And I kid you not, most of us felt, victimized, like, okay, these people just wasted our time. And a lot of people had to redirect their life and find extra time after school. But I realized that you went ahead with it and you really did a great one. So when did you find out that, okay, this was the place for me, and how? Because that really helped a lot of us. I mean, when did you realize that, okay, even though they gave me this, but I think this is actually for me? It was the hand of God, in this.
Yeah, okay, so that hand of God thing. Okay, so this is it. I started my MBA, generally, it was just human resources, MBA, MBA, Masters of Business Administration. For what I wanted, I just went into it because my cousin was going for MBA then. That's why I say sometimes you move with a bandwagon. So I was in sales and marketing in the bank. I was in business development. I was in credit. So my natural progression, honestly, wasn't something that has to do with human resources. So when they gave us the form, I filled in sales and business development, or something that sales and marketing was what I filled there. And that was because I had already started like 8 years experience in the same thing. So I just wanted a certain competence to back up my sales and marketing background. But then the day they were now like, we submitted the form, and they told us to come one day that, okay, they're going to share us into classes based on the form. I didn't go to school that day. I was at home. It was one of those days that you just get tired. I'm not going today for lectures. I stayed back. Then they were calling me that, oh, you should come. But then where I was staying to, where this campus in Ojo was a distance from Surulere to Ojo for me to just hop on the bus and start going there. And that was the period we didn't have Uber then. So there was no way of saying you want to take Uber. And I just said, let me just leave it. It was an executive program, weekend courses and things like that. So by the time I got to school the other day, the other time after the incident, I just saw my name in human resources. I just looked at it. We were less than 5 there that they moved in. They had like maybe 10 or 15. And when you talk about MBA, is a crowd. So for that department, 5 additional option B or something like that. I just saw like we were 5 on the list. I looked at the other girl. The girl looked at me and like, who chose this? So we went to, I think you used to call it, what do you used to call this? Admission or something. What do you used to call, this department that handles all this stuff. We went there. They told us we should write a form. We fill it. In fact, I even paid, when you paid all these admin people to move your name from this, I did. I went back again. They said they moved it. I went back again. I still saw my name, paid. By the time I went back the 3rd time, I just said, well, whatever it is. So when I got to the bank, it was GTB then. I got to the bank. I submitted a year or something after the birth certificate. I went there. So I told my boss I was moving to human resources department in the bank. And he told me, Rita, I will not release you. You're one of my top performers. I was like, I've done this. Something is happening that has moved me to human resources. Okay, let me go and practice human resources. And he told me, practical, no. So at that point in time, obviously, I left it to fate. Then along the line, I left the bank and one thing happened, and then I joined an organization, oil and gas, and then they said, oh, business development, and then they said they have to put HR under my portfolio, HR. Wow. I was like, okay, then I'll practice it. And that was how human resources chose me. So that's it. It was just like an unseen hand that reprogrammed me to human resources. It
I
was
think
never
really
anything that I
what
love to
human
do.
resources chose you is the right one.
Honestly, it is. So now when I look back at it, I'm like, thank God I didn't change it, because I won't have the authenticity in terms of the certification, the first step of it to have a master's in human resources. I wouldn't have it if not for that opportunity. So that's it. And then I fell in love with human resources, honestly. It's what I love to do. I drink it, I sleep it, I eat it, I chew it, whatever it is called now. Whatever it's called now. Joy's line has decided to play its work on us.
Yes, I think it's network. I think she's trying to connect back. Let's just give her some seconds.
Yeah, so we can also chat so that it doesn't get to the recording and
I don't know if you can hear me now. I think my network
Yes, we can hear you now. Yes, we wanted to do justice to the time so that you don't get to be in the middle of your recording and you meet like a certain place or whatever in it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So, but it's good. It's good. I think what we'll do now is we just address the questions. I have some things to say, but that'll be at the later end, because I mean, really, the topic has been covered. There's everything to learn from what has been said. Either you are just trying to find it out what to do, or you are even trying to make a decision on what you're already an experienced person, and you're trying to make a decision on what next to do. You're having this unrest in your mind. Am I in the right space? Am I just passing time? I mean, from all of these sessions, you will really be able to identify, because when you're self-aware, one of the things that Daniel said and you further emphasized is that when you're self-aware, when you really know yourself, then you'll be able to make the decision easily, along the line. So I think we should just answer the questions. Some questions have come ahead. I've shared them to you on your personal chat. So we'll do this way. Daniel will answer his first, and then Madam Rita will answer her own first, and like that, so that we could cover it in a short time.
Okay, so then Joy, sorry, can we just address me as Rita for purpose of this thing, this madam thing? Can you remove it?
Okay, yeah, I'm going to do this as Rita. I know, because yes. I'm just I know you're young.
Yes, I know societal, cultural background, cultural whatever it is, but please let's go for the Rita part of it.
Personally, I understand people in the corporate space, especially even some people abroad. They're like, oh, I don't like it. I just like my name. I'm like, see, I'm a Nigerian. And I wasn't raised like that. Please accept me as I am. I just
so I'm giving you permission. I'm giving you the permission to call Rita.
I try. But it's easier for me if I don't know you at all.
No, it's okay. I'm giving you permission to call Rita. Please do.
Thank you. So yes, Rita will take her own sessions like that, and we'll switch it,
okay,
in sequence. Yeah, thank you.
Okay,
so Daniel, you could take your question.
Okay, so from the chat box, okay, how would I know I'm in the wrong career or job? So like I mentioned earlier, you find yourself in a particular career and you just see that there's a misfit basically with what you are being assigned to do and what is coming to you. A typical example is, let me say I'm a financial accountant. I work in a consulting firm and I see myself doing logistics, or I see myself doing marketing, sort of, so there's a distraction to what I'm being assigned to do and as against what is being given to me. So I always want to focus on the financial aspect of my job. I keep doing my job, I keep giving inputs, but I keep getting something different from what I'm being given to do, in that kind of environment. So you tend to think, am I acting in the right career, or is it because of the environment I'm working in that is making it difficult for me to actually achieve what my goal sets are? So oftentimes when there are other roles creeping into your own roles or job functions, it becomes a challenge. And you now begin to ask yourself, is this the right career for me? Basically, sometimes the environment has a very huge impact in what you do, essentially. because I can tell you from experience, I've had that experience before, where you're an HR professional and you are doing something that is not within your job scope. Yes, oftentimes they tell you in your letter, okay, this is what your job entails, but you'll be assigned to do other, unrelated tasks to your job. But oftentimes you see where other unrelated tasks play a major part. In fact, interferes more in what you're doing in your assigned role. So that is where you now start thinking, am I really in the right career, or am I really in the right environment where my career needs to be actualized, going forward? So that's some of the, the signs that you mentioned, and you just like, this is the red flag for me. I don't find myself growing in this career. And again, like I said, when there's no growth for you in that career you are going for, there is no succession planning. You just feel you're doing the same thing over and over and over and over again. There's no room for creativity. There's no room for innovation. There's no room for even ideas to be given. You just feel, okay, just come, do your assigned task and go home. It is a 9-to-5 job, no motivation, nothing. Just,
No
A is A,
expression.
B is A, no expression. So it's often a challenge, when you are actually, in that particular space. So for me, it is a red flag, really. Like, Rita mentioned earlier in the course of our presentation, passion is very, very important. You have to be excited about what you're doing. If you're not excited, then of course, you are just doing the job because you want to earn money. So
Okay,
that's
I
just
think
my
we should
point
take
about
the
that.
next question straight on. That says, so how will I really be able to make my passion into a profitable career? I think I like that question. And because we've been flogging, passion, find fulfilling, aware yourself. And if I realize that, okay, I've done my self-awareness and I notice that what I want to do, I might not be able to make any money from it. I remember I had a very, I think it was a senior colleague, no, not a senior colleague, it was a popular, you would know her, a top speaker in Nigeria. She's a current CEO, let me just leave her name out of it. She mentioned something in one of our sessions we had one time, and she was like, okay, if you have passion and it doesn't provide profit, then it's passion. As in, like, I'm sure it's a local guy that means kid. I was like, okay. So how do I translate my passion into a profitable career? What
Okay.
if my passion does not really fit into any career that can sustain my lifestyle?
Okay, thank you for that question. So that it still boils down to, that self-awareness or self-assessment that you're going to do, have that reflection, and also do a bit of your research. Okay, you want to go into this career, which organizations offer this kind of roles? There's no role that you can think of that will not be profitable or rewarding. I can tell you from experience, even if you are going for maybe the medical field, or maybe you want to go into the maritime sector or education sector or the likes, that thing you are going for must be rewarding if you don't do your research properly. So doing your research in this sense and getting all the information and input from professionals within that space will make you have an informed decision, because I keep saying this, you can't do a job that you are passionate about and it's not rewarding. That is not passion in a way, because I can't be doing, because like they say, passion doesn't pay the bills. Passion can never pay the bills. If you enjoy what you're doing and there's no reward, coming to you, then I mean that is
Are
a
you saying
mystery.
that it's not possible to have passion for something and not deliver value enough to get tangible value back?
Okay, you can have passion for something, but at the same time you can give value to it and expect something in return, because when you work in an organization, it's actually a two-way street. You are giving something and you should be getting something back in return. So even if you are working for an organization, or you are working as a freelancer, or working as an individual, or as your own employer, there must be something beneficial you're going to get in the value you give, essentially.
Okay.
Sorry, you're muted, Joy.
Joy,
All
you're
right,
muted.
it's fine. I need to move to the next question. I have some other thoughts about that particular
Okay.
question, but I think we should move on for time.
Okay.
So, how do I break the barrier, especially when I want to dive across a new field? I want to move into another field. Okay, that's for. I think that's for Rita. That's a question for Rita. It was number 3. It says, how do I break the barrier, especially when I want to dive across a new field? I mean, completely change from what I studied in school, or maybe what the person is already doing. What are the steps I need to do when I want to change into another space?
Okay. So for someone that wants to transition into a new career, you still need to do an assessment of yourself, assessment of your present situation, know what you like on the job, know what you dislike on the job, know what you like on the job, know what you dislike on the job, know what is it that you want to even pursue in the first place. Because there's one thing that you like this and you don't even know where you're going. You can't wake up one day and take the car key and tell people that I'm going out and then drive all the way out of Lagos, around Lagos, and don't even have a hint. So you must know what career you want to. So once you do a self-evaluation of where you are presently, your likes, what you don't like about the job, look and choose which of the industry career do you really want to work in. Once you decide the career, then do the research on it. Do research. Research can be the self one, that you sit down on your own computer, do research, then ask questions, meet with people that are in that particular field. You can also do Google something about the job description concerning that particular role. By the time you go online, 3 job description sheets or summary will come out. Look at all the pros and cons of this. Is it things that you would love to? In fact, by the time you type something on career, on that particular career, you get so many informations that you need to pick up. In terms of when you're looking at the profile, the conditions, the working styles, are those things that relate with you, are those things that align with your personal mission statement. And for anybody that is also going to transition, so that you don't get to choose this career and then 5 years, 7 years down the line, you are changing it again. There must be somewhere you're going. Have you assessed that? Do you know what it is that you're going? That then after doing that, you now look at, okay, can I be of service to other people that are already in the field? That things come with mentorship. That thing comes with internship. Look for mentors now. What are the qualities I'm looking at for a mentor? What industry is my mentor? Is it aligning with the same industry this person is? How does this bring the trajectory of somebody? As much as I have a career, I do HR. I also have a mentor. I've had mentors since maybe 2014. I've had from one level or the other, I meet my needs, I move on to the next mentor, but we have a relationship. But at that particular stage of my growth, this is the kind of mentor I need. At this point in my career now, these are the mentors that I need. So you have to keep on reassessing and reevaluating your, your priorities. Your priorities and your goals must always move with the timeline that you have given yourself. And then so number 2, what Daniel, let me just buttress that in terms of profitable career, how you can turn into a profitable career, your passion. Like myself, HR, I decided one day, a client called me for a meeting. I went and it was like, oh, Richard, you have an account. Why don't you turn this into a business? And that was how Beacon Gate started. It was just something. So how have I been able to transition to that? He said, go and write a business plan. Because by the time you write a business plan, it's not going to work, because the fact that you have the first job, second job, third job, fourth job does not mean that there's scalable. You may do it and you may be getting continued customers. You get to a point, it ceases. Then how do you move from there? And the other part is, I love cooking. I love traveling. I love those things. Can you write articles about this thing? Can you post it on blog? Can you turn it into a YouTube channel? So those are things that you can start with. As much as it becomes scalable like that, then you can now start looking at the business angle. Oh, if I can teach 10 people how to write very well, then let me turn it into a profession. I can come out of it and say, oh, let me write an ebook. Oh, I get to the point I've done this one. Oh, let me train executives how to write or something like that, how to do present. So you can always turn your hobbies into something worthy, but then you must be determined. You must do the work. You must actually do the work, because you have to be persistent about that. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yes, I think that would lead us to the next question. But you can ask the question on the live chat. He said, my question is for Rita. How do you draw the line between the job that pays the bill and the job that one is educated and professionally experienced for?
Okay, so this person has boxed me into a corner. I tell people I run 2 businesses. I do 2 businesses. I do oil and gas and I do HR. It got to a point when, before I started Beacon Gate, I was doing the oil and gas one, and I told my team that if we're running this oil and gas business, like, this is not going to pay my bills, honestly. I felt, we were too individual in terms of, we define our target market. We were just concentrated on individuals. So I just told the team that, no, the profit we're making after we've done salaries and everything, the remaining money cannot even buy my recharge card for like 2 months. Then it's not to talk of feeding. Fine, I have a spouse and it takes care of some other aspects of the bill. So you get to the point where, this one is not paying your bill. This one is paying my bill. Honestly, I don't want to use one Yoruba parlance, but you have to know that you have to face it well. You need to know that you, there's a joke that somebody said that, oh, there was a drunkard that went to the bar and the housefly dropped into the bottle of, the cup of, beer. And it took the housefly and they sucked out the beer out of it. You actually was like, no, I cannot waste my money. I must suck out the beer from this housefly, and then he threw it away. So when it comes to this thing, this is it for you. You just need to be persistent. You need to be committed. You need to develop energy. Because once that is what you see, you know that there's no solution elsewhere. I'm telling you, 150% of your time, 150% of your commitment, 150% of your effort will be directed there. You know there's no turning point. This is what it is for me. So then oh, I have to put much effort in here, times 3 of what I'm doing there. And by the time you get to that balance, like there was a photographer that I had, he started with it as being an hobby, and it got to the point it was interfering with his normal work. And I had to sit him down one day and I said, Mr. Man, look at this. You're doing this even without you moving from anywhere. They are calling you because of the quality of your work. This shows now that it is kind of interfering in your normal cost of work. So decide on, if you're earning this much here and you're earning this much here, you have to reach an equilibrium. Find it. If the equilibrium is not balanced, one is status was higher than the other, then definitely you need to make a choice. So you always get there to know that this one is doing this one is doing this. Once the focus is there, once you know what you want, you put all your strength, your energy in it, you get the result in either one that you want. I tell people, it's not everybody that can be an entrepreneur. I get to the point sometimes I'm like, why did I choose entrepreneurship? It is demanding. If you can't give it your whole, it is demanding. Forget all this. I made 7-figure something, I made 6-figure, whatever it is. How scalable is it? How sustainable it is? Because you made it once, you made it twice. Does not mean that is how it's going to be continuously or persistently. Thank you. Joy, we're not hearing you. Joy, we can't hear you. You seem to be off. Or is it me?
I can't hear her as well.
Yeah. Yes, I can't hear you, Joy. So that has to be it. There has to be an equilibrium where you get to and this is what it is. I think you're muted, Joy.
Yeah, but can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Perfect.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there, right? But I'm glad to be back. So I said, yes, we've done a lot of justice to this. I will just take one last question for Daniel. And the question is very, very direct. He said, can I ever be rich with a career, or should I focus on business? I mean, this person,
interesting.
Because if you go to motivation classes, they'll tell you salaries never make anybody rich, blah blah blah. And I'm like, okay, I've seen a lot of people that appreciate their life, how it went, and they did career. So I'm wondering what you're saying. But these are the things that people have questions about. They want to know, can I really, really be rich during career? Or I should just focus on this, my business and the enterprise?
Okay, that's a very tricky one. So for me, what I would advise basically is you need to know what is profitable to you. Essentially, there are some persons that they find themselves in the right career that is very, 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 very they find a lot of financial incentives and benefits in it, that they just don't want to be entrepreneurs. They don't want to go into any business. Maybe they want to retire after that career and go into consultancy, basically. While there are some that actually I feel I can actually benefit more as a business person than as a career person. So I'll leave that to them to decide. I would not say career is the best in terms of financial incentives, or business is the best, in getting more financial incentives. While some do a mix of both. As you're working, you're in a career, you're also doing some business. Like, Rita mentioned, she's into oil and gas and she's an HR professional. So it's all about marrying both. If you can, but of course, find a balance in what you do. There are some that they are not good at business. They just want to they're more of the career people. Like, they just like the normal 8 to 9 to 5 job, Monday through to Friday, get my job done, give my input, give my reports, and go home. While there are some that are not good at the corporate life, they just want to do their business, get that financial incentives, invest more in the business, they want to be their own employer, and that is it basically. So for me, I would not say which one is more profitable than the other. There are some that are very, very much fortunate that are doing their career jobs and they are benefiting a lot from it. While there are others that feel, oh, the corporate life is not for me, I think I should go more into the business. But they should know that both are very, very much demanding. If you want to be an entrepreneur, it's going to take a whole lot of your time. In fact, a whole lot of your life that you may not have time for family. While there are some that are like, okay, I want to be that career person. So they're trying to strike a balance between their careers and their family. So I wouldn't want to say, oh, this one is more profitable than the other. Yes, some people even do both. So you have to strike a balance, know your strengths, and as well know your limits. Know what you can do and what you cannot do. That's what I can advise. Thank you.
Fantastic. I like that. Eventually, you have to identify where you are, and then know if you're an enterprising person before you go into being an entrepreneur, because it's even more demanding than being a career person, so to say.
Exactly.
But another thing I always like to add is career is actually a business in a way.
Yeah.
If you treat your career like it's a business, you invest, you expect return on investment, you take calculated decisions, and you are also selling value. It might not be commodities, it might not be services, but you're selling value. So you have to keep improving your value, have long-term plan, have long runways. You know, the same way you would have business proposal, you should have a life career proposal and career plan. The same way you have a business plan. So I don't even really think there's a lot of difference in that. Just know exactly what you want to do, the value you can give, and then know if it's in business or if it's in career, because even business is a career, because you will still have to learn one or
Yeah,
two
you got it.
skills, employ
That is it.
people, be a leader. You will still learn to know how to communicate with customers. You will learn how to do you learn how to tidy up accounts. Learn how to do all of these things. Being an entrepreneur is even more demanding, because you have to juggle like 3 or 4 careers together. So, but all of these things boils down to knowing who you are. I think we've come to the end of this meeting. I just want to share one last thing to help you to identify yourself. We talked a lot about self-awareness, and I feel like it's good to share with you one tool that I know can be very effective in identifying yourself alongside your career. It's called the 7-story rule by HBR. I'll share my screen now. Let me see it. Yeah, I'll share my screen now so you can see it. So this 7-story rule is just to identify your major achievements. So it's simple. You write down the things that people have said you've done well. It could be as good as, your recitation was very nice when you were 4 years old, and you were doing, maybe you were in Bible school, or you were doing memory verse, or you were a good photographer, or you were doing that. This person knows how to cook or something. All of the great achievements you've had, you write it down. Then the great accolades you've gotten, you can also write them down. Then you move it into concrete accomplishments from those things. So you might the first part might feel a bit flimsy, but you can move it to this part. I'll try and share this document after this meeting with all the people that registered on the receiving stuff channel. So you analyze this into 7 stories. You choose the ones that are prominent for you. And how you choose them is, what was the main accomplishment for you? How did you how did you enjoy it? What did you enjoy the most about it? You know, what did you do best about it? What's your key motivator? So these are the things that you use to analyze each of these stories. So when you recited, or when you wrote that drama, or you wrote that script, as a 14-year-old, that you prepared and presented in your school drama department, and everybody enjoyed it. The stage, the drama, it was perfect. What did you enjoy the most about it? Was it the organizing? Was it the script writing? Was it the entertainment? you want to sit down and know exactly what you enjoyed the most about it. What was the key motivator behind it? Was it because you had a story inside of you, or because you wanted to be popular in school, or because you felt I could do this? Why not? What was the key motivator for you? Why did you do that particular thing? What led you to get involved? Was it because you were already in the drama group, or you were the one that went to join it? Why did you even really get involved in this? What was the relationship with others? Did you lead others? Did you inspire others to do it? Was there already a team of people there to do it, or you had to gather the team? Did you have to source for your resources? All of those things. And then you describe the environment at which you performed it. It was a group of people, and all of these things to get to the subject matter. When you do all of that, you identify those skills, then you would be able to pick out of those 7 stories you picked, you'll be able to pick the skills you enjoy the most on all of these stories, all these life occurrences that happened to you in the past. You pick the skills you enjoy the most. And when you pick out the skills, you organize, you pick the skills you have. Maybe you saw entertainment leadership. You are very, very good at, fiction writing. You see all of those things. You see that you're good at writing stories. You're a good storyteller. And all of that. When you bring all of this together, you can bring them to dive down to know, okay, what are the careers around this that I'm picking, or the career in my mind? Does the day-to-day requirements fit into this natural knacks that I have? And that way you'll be able to identify if you're going in the direction that really, really suits you. I'm going to still share this document with you so that you could print it out and really do this exercise, and it will help you to move forward. All right, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Rita. I'm so glad you came and
Yeah,
you're able
thank you
to
for having me.
time.
Despite the doubts, I
Yeah.
have a
I
program
know I'm
as well.
respecting your timing. I'm so glad. Thank you so
So
much,
it's
Daniel.
okay.
I mean, it's a lot to just decide to give people resources without them paying. And it's early on Saturday morning. And I'm really, really grateful. Everybody is saying they're grateful. Thank you for the amazing session. And thank you so much. I know that you're an author. I mean, Rita, you write books. So please, we would like to would get access to some of the books you have, so that as people in the network that might want to have it will be able to connect with it. Thank you so much. That will
Okay.
be the end of this session.
Thank you so
Thank
much,
you very
Joy.
much.
Thank you, Daniel, for meeting
Thank you,
you.
Risa. Thank you. It's nice meeting you
Yes,
too.
it's nice opportunity to always
Thank
impact.
you.
You can always reach out to me when I'm
Definitely.
available. I mean, those are
Definitely.
impactful things that you want to do to the next generation. Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Thank you so
Bye.
much.
Thank
Yes,
you. Thank you,
yes.
Joy.
Bye. Thank you.
All right. Bye.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Daniel. Have a great,
All right.
great Saturday.
And you too. All right. Bye.
Bye. Okay, bye everyone. I believe you've had a great time. Have we can go over this meeting again. I'm going to try and share the recording of this meeting. You can go over it and the document so that you could practice it. And I believe that it will really, really be helpful. All right, bye bye.